Well, we know how this story normally goes. Cowboys and Falcons either extremely inconsistent or woefully underperforming. Something's got to give this week, right?
The Rams and the Seahawks battling for supremacy in the now mediocre NFC West.
The Lions went through the Vikings. Now the very young Green Bay Packers welcome them into Lambeau. Will they have enough mettle to withstand this test, or will they fall at the paws of mighty Detroit?
1 week after falling to famous Jameis and the Browns, Baltimore now faces the mighty Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos.
Week 9 kicks off on Halloween. Just how spooky can the NFL make this week for us?
So you mentioned spooky, right, sir? Anyone who's got nothing to do tonight and has Amazon Prime on is watching some spooky football, I guess. This atrocity known as the NFL Thursday night game.
Yeah, Sunday Scaries with Bucks McGee, and this game, I think I'm a little scared out of my hoodie here.
I feel
Getting the
like
heebie-jeebies.
I feel like I ate a pound and a half of candy corn.
Oh no, I wouldn't wish that evil upon anyone, Bucks McGee.
That's what watching this game is like right now.
Indigestion might be a blessing compared to this.
Very true.
So I mean the Texans got going eventually, but we had some scores taken off the board. I don't know, like I guess the refs didn't realize that it's already a pain and a terror to watch this. They had to make it worse and not give us enough any scores.
Well, when you cross the goal line for a touchdown, the key is to hold on to the ball as you cross the goal line. I don't understand this idea of, okay, I want to drop the ball just as I cross the line. Like, I don't understand why people think that's cool. But yet again, that's a Jet thing, I guess. And but again, like I've said in the past, this year, it's the Joe Mixon show.
Bad fundamentals. Yeah, and thank goodness for Houston that Joe Mixon is uh, not only playing well but also scoring, because I think CJ is missing those targets a little bit. Although Tank Dell is back. Tank Dell is showing a pulse.
Yeah, Tank Dell's got 4 for 70, but yeah, it's the Joe Mixon show. 17 for 91 and a touchdown. Cincinnati must be watching this going, wow, we had that. Oh well.
It's like seeing the ex move up on in the next relationship. You're like, damn.
You're like out, and it's like no, it's like a Hallmark movie, real quick. So you see your ex at like the apple picking festival, and she's there with her new man, and you're sitting there looking at her, going, wow, really, wow. And like the guy is like someone he went to school with and like picked on, and now he's like a stud. That's what this is like. It's like a quality Hallmark movie.
I never thought I'd call the Houston Texans studs. I kind of feel a little betrayed in my soul doing this, but hey.
Yeah, they are an ugly 6-2 team right now. They really are.
Yeah. they're the prom date that didn't put their makeup on.
But you know what? It's all about what's on the inside, sir. It's all
That's
about
right.
the inside. Let's get it right.
Natural beauty.
That's it.
So, speaking of beauty, two teams that we don't normally give a lot of praise to are squaring off this week, the Cowboys and the Falcons. And I'm almost curious just to know like where your rooting interests are going to lie here, because I know you need the Falcons to lose, but I don't know if you can stomach rooting for the Cowboys.
I can't trust the Cowboys to do anything. Like, so why do I even? I don't even care. Like, I don't care. I can't. Yeah, I can't. I can't count on the Cowboys to do squat. So yeah, Kirk Cousins is going to throw for like 380, 5 touchdowns. It's going to be a mess. So whatever. It's going to be an ugly game. It really is.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean, we know because I mean, if, unfortunately for your Bucks, you saw it firsthand with Kirk Cousins lighting up your defense a couple times. Uh, but we know this Dallas defense is atrocious, so I don't even feel comfortable asking what's the X factor in Kirk Cousins' weapons. I feel like I should be more asking you who's going to have the bigger day amongst his weapons. Like
Back to
200
back weeks.
yards, 150 yards.
Yeah, but at least when we play and we put up points, Dallas can't score for squat.
Yeah, Atlanta's defense might look like Houston's defense.
Honestly, I'm gonna use his name again this week. I think it's back to back weeks for Kyle Pitts. Like, I don't think anyone can stop him in the middle of that defense. So it's gonna be ugly. But you know what? Dallas can't stop the run. So it wouldn't surprise me if they rush for over 250, 300 yards. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Dallas can't stop the run, so it's probably going to be a heavy run right off the bat. And then if for some reason Dallas can stop somebody, they'll go to the pass. But I think it's going to be a big day for the running backs.
So go back a few weeks. We remember that Detroit game where they went down to Dallas and the hype, and we were like, "Oh, this should be the hype game because Detroit's a favorite, Dallas is Dallas," and they embarrassed them almost from the get-go. And I mean, that was something where we couldn't necessarily be surprised because their defense is so terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think this will be better or worse than that Detroit game?
It's going to be on par with that game. Like, it's just no one believes in Dallas. I don't think Dallas believes in Dallas. So it's just going to be like, if they have any chance to really salvage their season, like they need to beat Atlanta. They really have to. I just don't know if they can.
And speaking of that slim chance, we know that Dallas plays horrible at home. They tend to play a little more respectable on the road. Is that any kind of solace to Cowboys fans? Like, well, at least we're playing on the road.
All right, so you might get an extra 3 points. Okay, that's great. Like, let's be honest. Atlanta secondary is going to feast because all they have is CD and nobody else to throw to. Like, it's gonna be a mess. It really is. Unless Atlanta just falls apart, just chalk up a win for Atlanta. Dallas has no chance.
Well, they do at times have a tendency to do that. But should this play out the way we expect, are the Cowboys done and cooked at 3-5?
Just about. I think at that point it's going to be tough. Like, let's be honest, the NFC West is a jumble. Who knows? The NFC as a whole, you just don't know what you're going to get. And honestly, Dallas is the low end at the end of the NFC. Let's be realistic about it. So if they go 3-5, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a hard climb. They're going to have to go on a serious streak.
Yeah. So let's talk about a game that we actually might be excited to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll stick in the NFC. And this is an interesting one. The Niners are on a bye week. Obviously they're coming off of a pretty good performance against those aforementioned Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And a surprising battle for the NFC West. It's a little bit of a toss-up. The Rams have battled back. They're at 3-4. Seattle's at 4-4. And Arizona is at 4-4 playing Chicago this week. So is the winner of Rams Seahawks have the edge for the division?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. I think, and honestly, if you ask me to right now, I think the Rams are winning that game. I think the Rams, with the offensive weapons coming back, Kupp and Puka, I just think they're ready to go. I think they may be I want to say the most as close to complete as there is right now in that division. I know, there's talk of, CMC coming back, in another week or so, but right now, I just think the Rams are just in a groove.
And to double down on that, do you think so? The winner of this game, edge in the division. Do you also think the winner of this game is in a good spot to beat the Niners to kind of take the shine off of them?
Oh yeah, because the Niners aren't what they used to be. Like, let's be honest, they're injured. They're not the same team. Yes, they're going to get CMC back, but you were getting almost that same type of production from the backup. So it's for Mason. So you're not. I don't want to say you're not getting anything more because CMC is a great talent, but how much better are they? They've lost a lot of weapons. I don't. Right now, that whole division it's a crapshoot. That's why I feel the Rams are the best team at the moment. They feel the most complete.
Yeah, Mason and even Garendo, who, I mean, maybe we take that with a grain of salt because they're playing the Cowboys and that's horrendous defense, but still in all, that he was producing as well.
Yeah, they need Purdy to really have a great game. He's got to have a bounce back game and really re-solidify himself. But as of right now, I think you got to ride the Rams right now. They're the hot hand.
Yeah. Yes, and to that point with Purdy, like we also look at like, okay, yeah, he had a good performance throwing a Debo and Kittle, getting them involved, but again, same thing with Garendo, it's against the Cowboys.
Yeah, like really, like you're basically playing the Jets of the NFC. That's what the Cowboys are.
The Jets, I would take the Jets defense over the Cowboys defense. Put that Jets team with any other offense. Put that Jets defense with any other offense in the league.
I don't know the way the Jets are playing tonight. I don't know, man. Sauce Gardner has disappeared. I don't know, man. Right now, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah. So Arizona, first of all, do you give them the edge to beat Chicago here? Or are they going to take a little bit of a reality check? Because they do have that like up and down win loss thing going on.
I think Chicago after last week's fiasco against Washington. Yeah, I think the defense is going to come and try to make a statement, and unfortunately, Arizona is going to be the recipient of that. Arizona's they're fun, I'm not going to lie. They're 4-4. No, I don't think I don't think we had them 4-4.
No.
They're they've shown some life. They've got a little bit of talent, but I think Chicago is just way better.
Well, that's a heck of a statement for them to make. Should they do that? Because up until the Hail Mary, their defense was playing well.
Yeah, it's just we talked about the Hail Mary, just a bad play on the defensive end. But I think Chicago should be able to beat them. Arizona might make it interesting, but at the end of the day, I think that defense of Chicago just overtakes it.
Well, that was going to take a little bit of the wind out of my sails for my follow-up because I was going to ask if Arizona is going to be the next team to fight with the Rams a little bit. I almost called them St. Louis.
I don't know. I think if they had a little bit more on defense, I'd say, yeah. I think they also need, they've got pieces on offense, but I just don't, wide receiver wise, they don't match to what the Rams have. I just feel the Rams are just there right now. Like I said, they're in a groove. They've got, this young team, and these guys are just clicking. So I think Arizona needs a couple more pieces. We'll see what happens, but I just think right now you take the Rams in that whole cornucopia of craziness that is the NFC West.
It's kind of crazy. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about voices around the league were talking about if Cooper Kupp was going to get traded. McVay shut that down pretty quick.
Well, 1 or 2 wins, and there you go. So right now, I think the way they see that division, the Rams are like, you know what, we're all in. What's the worst that happens? If it doesn't work out, there's always the off season.
Yeah, it's true. No reason to have a fire sale if you're winning.
Yeah, or if you're in the thick of it, and especially if your division isn't really where it's at. If they're not trading them, then they really must feel that, the Niners aren't what they once were, and they have a chance.
Do you think Seattle is the lesser team here because they're strictly the lesser team, or do you think they're the lesser team just because of all their injuries? I don't even know if DK's will be back yet for this one.
I think the injuries to DK I think that the injury to DK really hurts them. I think they need another receiver. Lockett's great and all, but I think he's past his prime a bit. They could use probably a younger tight end, as can help stretch the field a bit. So it's one of those things where I think Seattle has to play perfect ball offensively for them to be in it. And I just don't know. I think they lack too many pieces, so they're gonna slowly start to fall back as the season goes on.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna stay in the NFC. Don't worry, fans. We'll get to the AFC eventually. I guess the AFC this year would be the greater conference. Normally that's not the case, but yeah. I don't know.
Depends what week.
At least you've got the Chiefs and the Bills and the AFC North mess and that sort of thing. Houston, I guess you'd probably throw in there. But anyway, NFC wise, NFC North showdown of sorts, I guess. Detroit 6-1, Green Bay 6-2. Detroit had that win a couple weeks ago over Minnesota, which was a big boon to them. And then of course just played with their food with Tennessee. But now that they go up to Lambeau, their first matchup because they only had played the one divisional game against the Vikings to that point, which is weird that Detroit had no divisional games until week 7 or whatever that was. But I mean, we saw how that one went, and the Vikings hung with them. I think the Vikings got out to a 10-0 lead in that one, but Detroit came back and they kind of hung around. But Detroit had more of a hold on it for the remainder of the game. Do you think that we could see something similar with Green Bay? Maybe they catch Detroit off guard, or are the Lions just gonna okay, we learned our lesson with the Vikings. Let's go out and pop the Packers in the teeth.
This game's going to be the measuring stick for Green Bay. Like they're going to see where they really stand.
Yeah.
Right now, the Lions are the class of the NFC, so that's there's no questioning that. So if Green Bay really wants to see where they're at, they've got to beat the Lions. They're the way the season's going. Who knows? 2, maybe 3 teams come out of that division. It's just insane, how that division is so far this year. But Green Bay, young guys, lots of talent. Jordan's, I guess he's hurt, a little bit. So, he's going to be, he may not be 100%. Of course, I think he's going to give it a go. But the Lions are rolling, dude. Yeah, you can't deny what they've got going on. When your, starting quarterback throws maybe 15 passes a game, doesn't even break 100 yards, and you put up you put up like 50 points, that's ridiculous. So it's one of those things where Green Bay is really going to have to play a solid game and get after Goff. But until I see something different, I think it's the Lions.
The benefits of playing the Titans, am I right?
Yeah, right. But yeah, you know what? Let my running back throw some touchdowns. I'm fine with that. That's cool.
Yeah, right. Here's something interesting. It popped into my head. The Lions, now you have the Vikings with their very aggressive defense, Brian Flores' very aggressive defense, and you have the Packers. I'm not sure know if you call them an aggressive defense, but they're very young and they've got a ton of talent. Do you think that this is a step down from their previous challenge, or do you think that this is going to be okay, we got past the Vikings defense, but this defense may be better?
Oh, this is a totally different animal right here. Green Bay's going to have to really be smart. I think Detroit's defense, even without Hutch, is gotten better. Secondary is still an issue, but they're fast. So it's all going to come down to the wide receivers at Green Bay making sure they run crisp routes. Nothing crazy. They're going to have to be able to run the ball. The flip side of that is, can Green Bay get to Goff? They've got the best offensive line in the game. And they've got to deal with the two-headed running back monster. So it's a lot to handle for Green Bay.
That's my next that would be my next question, because we know Jameson's out for a few games in the middle of being out for a few games. Is the edge for Detroit to win this going to be relying on the running game, the two-headed monster, or is it going to be Laporta and Raymond and those guys?
Well, those guys feed off the running backs. Let's be realistic here. The running backs set the tone. And if you watch their games, it's the running backs start the flow, and then those other guys are eating off of that. So, and you named all these guys, so who knows? Literally, you roll the dice. Whoever's name pops up could be the guy who goes for 2 touchdowns in the game and has a big game. Who knows what it's going to be? But I believe it all starts with the running backs. So you'll probably see a heavy dose of that, and then who knows? Laporta may go off for 2 or 3.
The old adage: run to set up the pass, run to set up the pass.
And there you go. And who knows? Goff might go 30 for 30 this week. It depends how he feels.
He's had a few of them already this year. I mean, they had the one perfect game. I forgot it was against on Sunday night, I think, and then he had that other game where he started out 12 for 12. And then the Tennessee game, I guess, was kind of like that, even though he only threw for 80 yards.
Ridiculous.
And so one interesting note from as far as opponents of the Lions this season, we'll give a pass to the Titans because they're terrible, but typically teams that play the Lions, they struggle the next week. So if the Lions hold serve and they keep the train going, the next couple opponents for the Packers are the Bears and the Niners. So that's not exactly the easiest stretch to come out of this game. So do you think if the Packers, well, I guess if they win, it's not as much of a stress test. But if the Packers were to lose this game, could they be cooked in the next couple games after this?
I don't know. I don't know if they'd be cooked, but the Chicago game with that defense could be a bit of a challenge. The Niners, I don't know, man. The Niners have an ability to kind of choke, to kind of not the way this team is set up now, the way they're playing. I don't think it's a gimme either. I would be more scared against the Bears than honestly against the Niners.
Yeah. Well, that is their next one. So if they struggle off playing the Lions, if they're all beat up because Detroit plays hard, then there's your tough one right there.
Yeah, there you go.
So as promised, we will and we are moving right along. We'll kick it over into the AFC. And this one, I don't necessarily know if this is going to be very competitive the way the season's gone for the Dolphins, but it is worth noting because out before last week, the last time we had seen Tua was when he got his noggin knocked around by the Buffalo Bills on a Thursday nighter. So here they go back to playing the Bills. They're going up to Orchard Park. The Bills, they've had some kind of a couple rough moments, but for the most part have kept it going, and they look like they're going to be clinching the division within semi-short order. So do you expect anything out of the Dolphins? Maybe last week was just Tua had to knock some rust off.
It's going to be interesting. I know Tyreek he's a little banged up. I think he's slightly questionable for the game, but I think he's going to push through. It's going to be. It all depends on Tua. If there's enough rust off, if they can make it competitive. Right now, I think Buffalo's playing solid ball. It all starts with Allen. They're playing well. I don't know. Last week was almost like an incomplete.
Yeah.
With Miami, I think this is going to be the test. I don't know if they can go full 4 quarters with them. It's going to be, they're going to have to use the run game. Miami is really going to have to, as they've done, these last few weeks, they're going to have to go run to really set things up. I think that's the best way to go at Buffalo. You got to kind of keep them off kilter.
Yeah.
And they've got to keep Allen from running. Like if they let him start to break out of the pocket and do what he does, I don't think Miami can keep up. So it's going to be interesting, but Miami really they just need to score. Field goals aren't going to cut it in this game.
Do you think it's more them having to contain Allen or trying to break through against the defense?
I think they've got to get after Allen. They really do. They've got to sack him. They've got to make it uncomfortable for him. with Coop now on the team and such, I think the wide receivers are starting to feel real confident. They've got to get after Allen. If they let him do his thing and create, those guys are going to eat. So they've got to get after Allen.
The Matthew McConaughey conspiracy
Yep.
theory. NFL's to sell you food.
Makes you want to eat. There you go.
Jerry, what you eating? Oh, Jerry's eating rice.
Jerry's eating rice. I'm like, get out of here, man. Whoever wrote that, man. Unbelievable. I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now at one point in this year, you were pretty impressed with the Bills' defense. They had some growing pains since, but do you think it's more important for them to take Tyreek out of here? He said he's banged up. He hasn't been playing like typical Tyreek level. Or do you think it's more important for them to lock down Achane?
I would shut down the run game and force Tua to beat me. I really would.
See what he's got.
see if he's back. Like, let's be honest. If he's not 100%, then he's going to probably throw up a couple ducks, probably a chance at an interception or two. Stop the run game and see if Tua can do it. Now, if he comes out the first half and he's lighting you up, then yeah, you're going to have to change, your approach. But yeah, shut down the run game and see what he's got.
Take a quick break here to read this very, very nice comment. South Bronx, thank you.
There you go. There it is. There it is, man. We're reaching all over the world, man. That's what we do.
That's right. we out here. So, how bad do you think this? How bad do you think this final score is going to be? Do you think the Bills are going to run over them, or will be a little competitive?
I'm thinking first half, it'll be within striking distance, and I think second half, Buffalo just does what it does and they stretch it out.
Yeah,
I think so.
There's a next game up, and it's my game, and I just want to lament. For a moment.
Joe Flacco!
No. We'll get to Joe. But this is the luck of a Colts fan. Okay? We play Houston. They're coming off 2 losses. We're like, all right, this is the time to get him. And sure enough, AR needs a freaking nap, needs his baby bottle, and we can't close that one out. Now we get Minnesota. We only had one primetime game going into the season against stupid Jets. And they bumped us into primetime this week to play the Vikings. I'm thinking, okay, this is a premier matchup. This is a good stage to showcase on. And the Vikings are coming off of 2 losses. They took it on the chin on Thursday against the Rams. Of course, they lost to the Lions. So thinking, okay, here's another one. Vikings, ripe for the pickings. Maybe we'll rebound, or at 4-4. We took a loss last week against the Texans. Maybe we'll come back. We'll get back into this one. So I'm telling you, this is the luck of the Colts fans. We get the teams ripe for the picking, but they're also the teams like waiting for the Vesuvius to blow up again.
You guys just can't pick them. You guys just can't pick the team. That's the problem. You can't pick them off.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Yeah, it is your luck. I feel bad, but you know what? If this game can turn like gritty and just ugly, if this can be ugly ball, then you've got a shot. I think Flacco can lead you, but if Sam Darnold starts off hot early, it could be a long night.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that because they have been struggling to get going lately. So
I think it's going to be a concerted effort to get Jay Jettas going early, and then once he gets going, and I don't know if TJ Hawkinson's back yet. I don't know if he's back for this game. I think he might be, and if that's the case,
I hope not. Give us a puncher's shot.
Give a puncher's shot. But you know what? At least you made prime time.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Not
one game. Although I'm a little more confident in that Jets game now than I was 5-6 weeks ago.
You know what? Not every team gets to make the prime time. Look at Carolina. They don't,
And
so.
nobody wants to see that.
But
They can't even get the token Thursday night game.
they can't get 4 o'clock. They just stick at 1, and that's it. If they could, they'd play them at 9 a.m.
Oh, that's right. They did send them over to Germany, which I'm pretty sure the Germans are going to bomb us after putting them on TV with the Giants.
Yeah,
I can't say the B word. I can't say the B word on YouTube. I should stop that.
It's not the best product, but like I said, if you guys can play ugly ball and maybe they slip up still. Maybe this is a swoon. Maybe this is the time where Sam Darnold is becoming the pumpkin like everybody was waiting for. So maybe this is it, and this is your time. But it's going to have to be a really clean game for you guys to really have a shot.
I don't mind playing ugly ball. I think we can win that way. And speaking of ugly, I mean, obviously I'm not the biggest Joe Flacco fan in the world, but at the same time, I am thanking everything on high, everything holy that he's back to the lineup because I can't deal with AR again saying, Coach, I'm too tired.
Well, you know what? Maybe you guys could swap him and Bryce Young, and you could have the young guy from Carolina because he plays with heart. He's a heart guy, and that's what you guys need, heart.
And you know what? I would almost take a chance on Bryce Young just because I think the Carolina situation is such a disaster for him. I wouldn't mind if we could get him cheap. Like obviously, I don't want to pull another Trent Richardson and give up a first-round draft pick for him.
Trent Richardson.
I don't want to do that.
Oh no! Carolina knows you're not getting you're not getting the king's ransom for him. But unfortunately, here's the situation: Bryce Young is a too short quarterback who doesn't have a scrambling ability. That's why Kyler has survived in Arizona. He's got the ability to scramble and create. Bryce is a pocket guy, so I don't think that's good. I don't think he's got much time left in the league personally. But Flacco for you guys, I think can carry. He doesn't make stupid throws. He's got enough in the tank, and that's what you want. If AR can turn it around and get his head right, I still think he needs to sit and learn behind somebody. But right now, Flacco's your guy. You just want to just get this win, take it week by week.
Yeah, steady, especially with JT back as well. Just steady, even keel, make the smart throws. You've got Jonathan Taylor behind you. Just rely on him and just make the most of your throws. And yeah, you know what? With Flacco, and granted, I know Downs got a touchdown last week. He had a big game, but now with Flacco back, Josh Downs is a viable fantasy option again.
Thanks. There you go.
So I do want to ask because in theory, we really shouldn't be the favorite here because Minnesota's 5-2 and they played exceptional this year.
Hey! You can't say that. The Jets were favorites. They were 2-6.
Well, I don't know how that happened. I think the bookies were drunk. I think the odds makers hit the bars too much last night to make the Jets favorite in the Thursday nighter. I don't know what the heck happened there.
Who knows? I don't know.
So I like to have low expectations. So if we lose, then our next 3, are we out of it after the next 3? Because this is kind of our death stretch of the season. So we have this one against the Vikings. We have Buffalo next. That's not going to be easy. We have the Jets. Obviously, like I said, that seems a lot easier.
That's a win. That's a win.
Seems a lot easier than it did several weeks ago. But then after that, we get the Lions. So obviously, I'm going to just chalk that up to an L right now. So if we can't pull this off against the Vikings, are we in trouble?
Wow, that's wow.
Because 4-4, looking at a potential 1-3 stretch is not great.
It's not, and if you really look at the landscape of the AFC and what right now people are predicting that Denver and the Chargers are going to be the last 2 the wild card teams. You guys are in the thick of it, but if you guys go 1-3, that's tough. You really have to start scoreboard watching and hoping that Bo Nix loses the luster, and that all of a sudden, the Chargers can't figure anything out. So it's
I can't believe I'd ever hope to play the Chargers, but of course we don't have them on the schedule this year. I never thought
right.
I'd see the day where I said, let me play the Chargers because I actually think we could probably beat them this year. But alas, of course, the 1 year I think we could beat them is we're not. They're not even on the schedule.
It's gonna be just focus on this week. That's all you can do. Anything can happen in the league. That's facts, but that's a tough 3-game stretch.
Yeah. So I think this next game could possibly other than Lions and Packers. I think this could be the game of the week. Denver and Baltimore. So Denver obviously extremely surprising. I think we picked them to win 2 games in this over the summer. Nobody
Yeah,
saw this coming.
yeah.
And Baltimore is also 5-3, and okay, they're still in it. We expected them to be in it, but it's been a pretty ugly 5-3. They've been good when they see the king. They've been not so good when they go away from him. So, and Denver's defense has been exceptional. So whether they run Henry or not, do you see them, the Ravens, having some trouble against this Broncos defense?
Wow. Yeah, you got to, Denver's defense has been impressive. This is going to be an interesting game because it depends on what Baltimore does. I don't get Baltimore. It's like 1 week, it's a Derrick Henry. And then they play great. And then the next week, five touches is good. We'll be all right. Go ahead, Lamar. Throw the ball 30 times or whatever. Run around. Like, it makes no sense to me what they do. So I think what they're going to have to do is it's going to have to be a steady diet of Derrick Henry and then work off of that. I don't like. There's a shot. Denver is a puncher shot. Like, let's be realistic. No one thought the Browns were going to do it, so let's be realistic here. Like, really, no one thought the Browns were gonna pull that off. Baltimore was 1 interception away from ending that game, and unfortunately, it didn't work out that way.
That was also the first game in about 3 or 4 weeks that they didn't give the ball to Henry a lot.
Yeah, like the guy, it's not like he's Zeke and he barely can get you 30 yards. The guy is still literally playing like he's in his prime. Give him the ball. Why not? Like, this whole we want to be all fancy with the offense. Give the guy the ball. Lamar's going to be okay. Lamar's feelings won't get hurt. I'm sure of it. So if it's a steady diet of Henry and Lamar, gets everybody involved, I think they bounce back and win. But if they don't and they start doing this stupid thing where they don't give Derrick the ball, Bo Nix may sit there and put another feather in his cap and be like, okay, here I am. And then they go, what, 6-3?
Yeah.
And then they are a legit viable playoff team. Like, you have to take them seriously at that point. If teams aren't taking them seriously now, they beat Baltimore, then it's okay.
John Harbaugh's keys to victories on the whiteboard. Don't be stupid.
Just give the ball to Henry. That's all you got to do. Give him the ball 15. Give him the ball 15, 17 times, and you're good. I don't get it.
Let's flip the conversation. Talk about the other side of the ball. Baltimore's defense. Obviously, we've gone over it, and we see, and a lot of other people have gone over as far as talking about it in the mainstream as well. Their defense, not what it used to be. Bo Nix got off to a slow start. Started to show off the arm a little bit. Is he gonna struggle, or is this gonna be a situation where he's still a rookie? There's not a lot of tape on him. Maybe he takes advantage of a kind of porous defense.
It's not like Baltimore's some vaunted defense. Like, they're a middle of the road defense. If Nix plays how he has, he can scramble, and that's the thing. Like, he moves well out of the pocket. So if he can extend some plays, he's got the receivers and guys to make plays. So I don't think they look at Baltimore's defense and they're like, like that's not there. It's not Ray Lewis on the other side and then Reed. Like they're decent, but Baltimore, I mean, Denver can score on them. They can run. So it's going to be just, no stupid mistakes. Throw the ball away if you have to. Don't try to make great plays if you don't have them, because that's how the interceptions happen. Keep it simple, and they've got a shot.
More yards. Cortland Sutton in the passing game, or Javonte Williams on the ground.
Wow. Wow.
Both from a strategical standpoint with Denver's play calling, Sean Payton's play calling, and also from strengths and weaknesses of Baltimore defense.
Wow. I'm gonna say Williams.
Okay.
I think the run game is going to be huge for them. So, and I think Williams is a solid back. He performs well. So I could see him getting probably a little more than Sutton.
Hard to call an upset when they're both 5-3, but do you think Denver quote unquote pulls the upset?
Wow. Something in me wants to say yes, but Baltimore has to bounce back from the Cleveland loss. Like you would think they would say, all right, this is what we did wrong. And everyone in America will tell them, you didn't run Derek enough. Let's fix this problem and just, run Derek and move on with life. But it'll be interesting if Denver pulls it off. I'll tell you this, the AFC changes a little bit there.
Pittsburgh's on a bye week, so it would be a very bad week to have a slip up. A second slip up in a row, mind you.
Yes, the vaunted Steelers, yes.
Well, hey, that's what the division is. It's not me. I'm just looking at the numbers.
No, it's very true. Very true.
All right, Bucks McGee, we ripped through this a little bit. Do you want to do a quick little lightning round of extra pointers?
I'm always down for some extra pointers, of course.
Ad lib, baby. We got a good audience tonight. So
yep. So people can yell at me during the rest of the week. I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
Don't forget to sub if you're not already. If you're watching right now. So.
Yep.
I see two games here that are very, very interesting to me because they are potentially, two of them are the worst teams in the league, and then the other two are right in the mix to be the worst teams in the league. Mm-hmm. You have Saints and Panthers going at each other in Carolina. I would assume Andy Dalton would be back for this one. And you also have Patriots and Titans going at it. So could we see a situation? And of course, both of the one-win teams, the Panthers and the Titans, are the home teams in these. So could you see a situation where Carolina and Tennessee get a win, deep six their edges in the number one draft pick race, and we have a brand new ball game towards the worst team in the NFL?
Wow. Well, I believe Bryce is playing this week. I think they said he's playing, so it's Bryce and Carr's making his triumphant return. I'm sure Cam Jordan's all excited about it because he's just the greatest prognosticator there is. All right.
That's okay. Slight distraction. Who do you like making fun of more, Cam Jordan or Aaron Rodgers?
If I'm just having lighthearted fun and stuff like that, then it's Aaron Rodgers. But if you want me to have some bite to it and just to be a bitter person, that's Cam Jordan all the way. All right. So Panthers and Saints. The Saints have to win this game. Like they've got talent on the team. They just don't know what they're doing. Their head coach is horrible. They have aging talent, overpriced talent. So it's got to be the Saints. Saints have to win this. And then what was that's right. Patriots and the Titans. Good Lord. That's horrible, man. Like no one cares about that game. No one. Like it's not even fantasy relevant. Like what do you take from that game?
No.
Like unless you're a Jacoby Brissett fan, no one cares.
If you are forced to watch that game in either the New England or the Nashville market this weekend, you've got to be like scratching your eyes out by the end of it. Go
Spend
out and
it.
get some fresh air.
Yeah, either get outside or spend the extra couple bucks, get red zone, and move on with your life because that's horrible right there. That's horrible TV viewing. That's a coin flip. New England is horrible though. I think the Titans would somehow pull that out.
Not to be and not to be discounted from the race for the worst team in the league is the New York Football Giants. They're playing at home, but they're welcoming in division rival Washington, who usually plays pretty well against the Giants. And Jaden Daniels obviously coming off that highly emotional ending to the previous game, so that could be another one. That could be another embarrassing type of fest.
All right. Here's the thing though that'll make this game somewhat interesting. The Giants lead the league in sacks. So it's like, and we've talked about their defense. Their defense isn't
Very,
horrible.
very good. The,
It's
the,
just
the Giant, dare I say, the Giants defense is what the Jets defense should have been.
Yeah, exactly. It's just unfortunately those guys play with Danny Dimes, and this is what you've gotten, and a front office that didn't want to pay Saquon like $2 million. So that's it is what it is. Uh,
Nah.
but this game could be one of those games where everyone's like, oh yeah, Washington has this in the hand, and then all of a sudden the Giants play inspired ball for 60 minutes for some weird reason, and it ends up being like 13-7 because the Giants end up with like 8 or 9 sacks, and it just ends up being ugly. So what has to happen is Washington needs to keep Daniels upright, nothing crazy, and they should be able to get out with a win. But that could be a game where it's like, plus it's divisional. So
it's a good opportunity for Washington's defense. Surprisingly, played very well last week against the Bears. This would be a perfect opportunity for them to build on that momentum, given the fact that Danny Dimes is kind of useless.
In a perfect world, yes, you'd want that, but those things happen where next thing you know, you're looking up at the scoreboard, it's 16-7, and you've been sacked 6 times. You just don't know.
Yeah, that's like, oh, now we got to go for 2 a couple times.
And then all of a sudden Daniels takes a hit to the ribs, and then next thing you know, it's the Marcus Mariota show.
Yeah, he played well the last time he had to come in, but I don't know if you want to play with fire like that too often.
Yeah, sometimes you hit on 17 because you got no choice, and you luck out and get a 3, and you're like, all right, I'm out.
That's when you don't even bother picking a number. You just bet black.
You're like, I didn't lose the mortgage. I'm out. I'm leaving.
Yeah. Next extra point. I call this the disappointment bowl because Sin City is heading to Cincinnati this week, and I don't know what this is another one. I don't think it'll be as bad as Patriots Titans, but I really don't know what to even take out of this one. If the Bengals somehow lost this game to the Raiders, they're definitely done.
So is Macaulay Culkin starting for Cincinnati this week?
That's right. His best Halloween costume.
His best role since Kevin McAllister in Home Alone.
Yeah. I will say though, I was a little confused. I didn't know whether he was going for Joe Burrow or Cody Rhodes.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Right now, if I'm Cincinnati, I'm sitting there looking at the league this week, and I'm like, Baltimore could slip up again. Maybe something happens. Everyone, we got to win. We can't slip up here and lose to Uncle Rico and the boys, and we got to figure it out. So this is I think this is a must win for them.
That's a bad place to be in, where you're like, even if we do everything in our power and we do what we're supposed to do, we're still praying for people to fall down.
Right? Usually you want
in week nine, no less. Not even
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like it's like week 9. Like usually you're like week 6, 15, 16. You're like, because there's the stretch. Like what you need. Nope. They didn't even hit week 10 yet. Now you're like, wow, our season's over. So they've got to put it together. They've got to really put a string together. If not, Cincinnati can just start looking the next year.
And our final extra point, I gotta ask, how embarrassed are the Jags gonna be? Philly's coming off a game where they actually looked like Philly. Can they continue that and rough up T-Law and the boys? Sunshine.
Such a... See, here's the thing. Like a couple years ago, I'd say, yeah, Jags have no chance. Philly's going to come in here and handle business. I don't trust Philadelphia.
I
Like,
don't
yeah,
either.
like they looked great last week. All right, now is this going to be, just a retread, and all of a sudden, Jalen doesn't know what to do. He's throwing the ball to one guy and one guy only, and the defense, coughs up, some scores.
I might
But
trust Philadelphia more than Dallas, but that's probably about as far as I trust them, which is setting the bar very low.
very true, very true. But no, I would take Philly. The Jags. I just don't trust. I just don't think they've got it. They're beat up at running back. It's just this team's a lost cause for the year. Once they get rid of Doug there and try to rebuild this thing, they'll be better off. But Philly should go. Philly should be able to handle this.
Calling Peterson, Dougie, not so fresh.
Doug, you know what? And what it is Doug is that guy you bring in to right the ship, to kind of get things right. But he's not a long-term guy. He's really not. Like there's like pecking orders. It's like Doug's like your ground level guy. And then you want to go up a little bit, bring yourself in some Mike McCarthy. He'll get you 12 wins, but you're not doing anything in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like that's what you do. And then you move on from there. Like at that point, you're probably going Andy Reid, because at that point you're looking championship, Super Bowl kind of stuff.
Yeah, just get us over the hump at the end.
Exactly. Like Doug, make sure the laundry's done. Make sure everyone's locking the doors when they leave. Everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing, the basics. And then at that point, yeah, you're like 9-7. You're Tomlin-esque. And all you Steelers fans, don't be like, oh, well, we're doing great. Yeah, you're doing great this year. Like, don't talk the other 10 years. I don't want to hear about it. Or like 6 or 7 years of 9-8. So respect to the Steelers fans, you guys, have found the fountain of youth for Russ, but I need to see it for another 3 or 4 weeks before I believe it.
Buccs McGee, breaking news: the Jets just scored.
Oh, geez, end of the world. Get your money out of the bank, folks. Pack up your emergency bags and head out to the woods. It's going down.
It's over.
It's going down. Aaron Rodgers throwing tutties. Good Lord. Good Lord.
Well,
cover that spread.
Bucks McGee, that was a hell of a lightning round. A little extra content there for the audience. Sir, take us off air. It is week 9, and it is Halloween.
Yes, it is. So for you Jets fans, it's spooky out there. Enjoy them candy corns. It's a good, it's a decent slate of games this week. Can't totally complain. I don't know what to say. It's going to be some interesting stuff. Patriots fans, sucks to be you guys. It is what it is. Saints, Panthers, no one cares. No one's going to watch that. Sneaky Denver and Baltimore, you guys are my pick of the week. Bo Nix, don't let us down.